Mayor Bass from Los Angeles got completely embarrassed and exposed while being interviewed by a journalist on the street pretending to work for the people of Los Angeles fixing potholes. Welcome to No Fiction, Just Facts. Let's get started. So, Mayor Bass of Los Angeles was on the street filming herself. There was a crew there, they were filming her fixing a pothole on the street. So, this goes on the news, this goes into the media. This is advertising for her campaign and all that other stuff. So, she gets interviewed by a journalist on the street and completely gets exposed by his questioning. And I love that journalist because he questions a little bit deeper and she doesn't like it because you can hear in her voice that she gets a little bit aggravated. So I want you to watch that clip where she gets interviewed and she talks about fixing potholes. And it's kind of surprising to me that she's been the mayor for almost 4 years and she exposes herself, literally saying that nothing was invested in the city and repairing of the roads for multiple years now. And now it's a great idea to do it. Which is kind of surprising because we have a mayor election for Los Angeles in June. So 4 months before, she's starting to fix potholes and all that stuff. I wonder why right now. So I'm going to let you watch that clip and then we'll be back talking about it.
Potholes are an issue now, especially since it has rained and we've seen so many of them. What are you going to do about it?
That's right. Well, and let me just tell you, we are fixing them. And in the last 3 months, we fixed over 10,000 potholes. And in the last couple of weeks, we fixed almost 300. So we are going to continue doing that and until all the potholes are fixed. And what we're doing here is asking people to report on 311 when they see a pothole, because we certainly don't want cars damaged or people to be, have difficulty with that.
Now, we saw you fill a pothole with asphalt here just a few minutes ago, and you're encouraging people to call 311, but guess what? We know people, I work with people who've called 311, nothing happened, the pothole was never repaired. They called several times over a couple of months. Yes. What do you have to say about that?
Let me just tell you that in the last 2 months, 3 months, we have fixed over 10,000. We have a lot more to fix. But I think this is a reflection of decades of lack of investment in our infrastructure, and we are definitely addressing that.
You talk about that. I mean, we spend so much less here in LA than other cities do.
Yes,
for example, New
do.
York or San Diego,
Yes.
San Francisco.
Yes.
And we haven't repaved a single city street here since last summer.
Well, let me just say that we have much more we need to do, which is why I've been developing a comprehensive infrastructure plan. Again, this is a situation that has existed for a very long time, and we are absolutely addressing it. We need to invest more in our infrastructure, and that is something that we are definitely going to do.
I mean, but these things take a lot of time. I think it was you who was saying, or somebody, that they're going to repave something like 60 lane miles of city streets this year. Well, there's 22,000 lane miles in the city of Los Angeles.
Right. There
so
is
it's a tiny
lot,
fraction.
There is a lot to do, and we need the resources to make sure that it is done. And I think 60 miles will be an accomplishment that needs to happen. But you could look at every aspect of our infrastructure, and it is the same issue. Because if you don't invest for decades, then don't be surprised that you have these problems.
You're running for re-election, and you've got a challenger, and they're going to judge you based on what you have done.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, in the last 3 months, 10,000 potholes, many more to do, much more we need to do for our infrastructure. I am happy that street homelessness, which was one of the #1 issues in our city, has been in decline for 2 solid years. I'm worried because of what the Trump administration did yesterday that we might have an increase, considering they have now issued regulations that say no mixed status families can be in public housing. We do not want to see thousands of Angelenos thrown on the street because of a regulation from HUD. So as we struggle in our city, we also have to struggle against policies coming out of Washington, policies coming out of Sacramento, and then the overall economic uncertainty that we are experiencing in our region. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for talking to us.
So hold on a second. In the beginning of this interview, she said that in the last 3 months, they fixed about 10,000 potholes but in the last couple of weeks, they fixed about 300 potholes. So you got 12 weeks in 3 months. If you look at 10,000 potholes divided by 12 weeks, that's 833 potholes per week. So if in the last couple of weeks they fixed 300, they must have done like 1,000 every other week or something like, you know what I'm saying? So the math is not mathing. It's not adding up. She also says that, we haven't been investing money in our infrastructure, and we have to invest money because if we don't invest, then things break down and stuff like that. She has been the mayor of LA for the past 4 years. She hasn't invested. She hasn't worked on these potholes. These potholes have not been fixed. Other things have not been fixed, and they weren't just taken care of as they were supposed to be taken care of, which most likely during her previous campaign before she was elected for these 4 years that just passed, she probably promised to fix. Now, because you have an election coming in June, now she's on the street, now she's giving interviews, now she's talking to people that she's fixing these potholes and these problems are going to be resolved and all that other stuff. The guy also mentioned that they're promising 60 miles of repaved roads for this whole year while having 22,000 miles of roads. So I don't even know if that's 1% of roads. It's just terrible mismanagement. And I bet you there is millions and millions of dollars that went into migrant housing and other things which could have taken care of things for the actual citizens of California, of Los Angeles. Now, what was also interesting to me is at the end of that interview, there was two things that stuck out to me. At the end of the interview, she automatically turned the conversation to Trump to take the spotlight away from her. So let's go on to Trump. And then after she said what she needed to say about Trump, she automatically ended the interview and said, thank you very much, and started walking away. So not a good look. I don't think this is a good mayor for LA. There was a lot of problems during the fires in LA that we remember. I do not think the Los Angeles citizens should re-elect her. And this just, exposes what they do. They basically just show up for people right before the election. They show that they're doing something right before the election, talking to people, showing up on TV and in commercials, in interviews, and on campaign flyers probably, and all that kind of stuff. But it's just before an election. I bet you that once the election passes, everything goes back to normal. And for the next 3.5 years, if she gets elected, no more potholes will get fixed. So I don't know what you guys think about it. Share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.